Ukraine has been left behind by the modern world, and much is still deteriorating. The outlook is bleak for these impoverished people. Life expectancy for men is just 60 years of age. 50% of the entire population live below the poverty line. Inflation is over 25%. A Jewish world torn apart by war, Holocaust, and communist repression. State pensions are virtually worthless. Those who work are lucky to be paid in cash. Unemployment is greater than 40%, and there is no unemployment benefit. There is no state welfare. And without World Jewish Relief, there is no safety net for Jewish communities. However, we have much to celebrate at World Jewish Relief, and for this we thank you, and our local workers on the ground, hundreds of volunteers, and our small professional team in London who ensure we are a trim and cost-effective charity. Our programmes have been expanding, especially in the former Soviet Union and Eastern Europe, supplying £500,000 worth of food packages, £1 million worth of meal programmes, and substantial soup kitchens, home care, medical equipment, and many other humanitarian welfare services, as well as new community centres to operate from. The history of World Jewish Relief spans the Jewish world. Our efforts are as global as our resources allow. But because our resources are limited, we have to concentrate on those people and places where the need is greatest. World Jewish Relief supports the building of communities to enable Jewish people to help each other. This is especially needed in times of local emergency. Earlier this year, floods in the Ukraine destroyed crops and the year's food supplies. The floods destroyed thousands of poorly constructed houses, leaving isolated people homeless, with nowhere to go, and their few possessions gone. There is no insurance here.
Thank God for World Jewish Relief and to the community for fixing things after the last flood. With no state assistance available, Jewish people of all ages have to rely on each other.
In Odessa, we help to keep neglected and abused children off the streets by supporting the Jewish Children's Home. There are only 104 children here. Hundreds more are needy and waiting, like these who work until midnight in state institutions. In Dnipropetrovsk, our Tikva program at the community centre looks after special needs for local disabled children. It gives respite for the parents and practical assistance to the children. Unfortunately, it's the only one in the whole Ukraine, though 2 more are being opened with your support. Hundreds more children need this special help. In Uzhgorod, we're building a new community centre to act as a base to increase welfare and community programmes. A kitchen for mass food supplies, a pharmacy to provide prescription medicines, and a medical surgery. Chesed mobiles deliver much-needed medical supplies and food relief across this vast country to people in isolated regions, travelling across difficult territory to help those in need. Like Margaret, who became a Soviet citizen when she married her late husband.
It's all a question of young love. When I was still in England, I met a man who was at that time a Czechoslovak.
The Soviet authorities would not allow Margaret and her late husband to leave for England. Now she's alone and depends on our help.
I don't know how to tell you how much help I've got from them. You see this mattress? This mattress was brought for me immediately when I broke my leg. This head thing, they brought this for me. They even brought me a bedpan, excuse me. They brought everything. From the bottom of my heart, I say thank you, because without them and all their help, I don't know what would have happened to me.
It's been devastating for all of us.
We have a bigger problem than ever this year. The eyes of the world are distracted toward the grim realities of the war against terrorism. The survival of Ukrainian Jews seems forgotten, but not by us. Community leaders and directors of Jewish orphanages and welfare programs are now calling us in desperation. Their other sources of funding have been cut back or stopped, and we do not have sufficient funds to help all the communities or individuals in their care.
My mama and papa and 5 brothers and sisters were burned in the crematorium after they left the concentration camp, Spandau.
Mally lives 35 miles from any Jewish community, but being Jewish means everything to her. She reads her father's Siddur every night and keeps Shabbat as in days of old. She has no electricity and little to eat. She stores what food she can grow in summer, but these jars and bottles have to last all winter and spring. There is no family to help her. But she refuses to finish her matzah from last year. It reminds her she is not alone.
The Germans gave us injections to stop menstruation, my periods. That's why I have no children. After the war, I had to walk back from Germany, 23 kilometers a day. When I got back, my house was a shop. The Russians inside wouldn't let me in. I have enough clothes now, but it would be nice to get more food. Once a month isn't enough. I spend all my money on medicines. If I go out, my food gets stolen. I had 2 ducks. Just yesterday, my other duck was stolen. And this is my bathroom, but my bath was stolen when I was in hospital.
Too many Jewish people are isolated. Many have no family members or neighbours to rely on. Others are alienated from their neighbours just because they are Jewish.
My name is Vladik.
Vladik is diabetic and relies on a local World Jewish Relief volunteer.
My name is Olga Gershevich. I am a volunteer for the local Jewish charity Hesed Shpira. I come here 1 time a month. I bring medicines for Vladik's diabetes and food for the baby. They need it and so much more. They're a good family, and it's a pleasure to help them. Pieter had a good job, but now he is unemployed and cannot support his family.
We were told our son has diabetes, so we have to buy insulin. He gets 4 shots a day and a special diet. The insulin is too expensive and will run out. There's no National Health Service to supply medicines like this to help my son. Vladik's insulin came from Russia, But recent increases to the ruble exchange rate now make insulin too expensive, even for the nearest Jewish community centre.
Everyone gets medicines for nearly $2 in the month. It's very small. Oh, otherwise.
Too little.
Too little.
Rather little.
Their supplies of medicines are meagre. As a result, children, adults, and the elderly will suffer needlessly.
I'm 15, nearly 16. I have a mother, no father. I have to help Grandma all day because Mum goes to find work. I even sleep in the same room as Grandma. She had a stroke 3 years ago, so her left side has been paralysed ever since. Now she walks a little. There's no such thing as an old age home, so I have to be here all the time with her. I do everything.
My grandson has no school, no friends, no life. It's such a punishment. You know, I was in a slave labor camp. Now I'm useless.
Victor wants to be a chef when he's older, making cakes and sweets. But for now, he's reliant on food from donations.
Yes, life was very hard before community centre was set up. Really, really hard. There were times when there was no bread in the house because there was no money. I think Jewish people should know how their grandfathers fought the Nazis here. And they prayed to God here. But with all that's going on in the world today, I think they will forget us.
Since September 11th, much international aid has been diverted away from Ukraine. The global economic downturn is having a very real effect. As a result, some of our orphanages and community centres, our soup kitchens and health programmes may soon have to close. Friends, these people are Jewish. They rely on us all. Without you, many elderly people may die this winter. Without you, orphans may have to be returned to the streets. Vladik will die young. Victor will have no future. And these are just a few. 500,000 desperate Jewish people in Ukraine need you to help. More than ever. We've told them we will help.